In the resplendent Tuileries Palace, the dawn in Paris carried an unusual silence. The first rays of the sun pierced through heavy curtains, illuminating the depths of the palace where the crown of Emperor Napoleon, symbolizing power and glory, lay in preparation for the upcoming coronation. This crown was the centerpiece of the entire ceremony. However, on this well-prepared morning, everything changed. Maximilian, a seasoned veteran responsible for the security of the crown, noticed something amiss during his routine check. His face turned pale, hands trembling slightly, as he discovered the unthinkable. The crown that should have been resting quietly on its velvet cushion was gone. Maximilian's first reaction was panic, but he quickly composed himself. He knew the chaos that would ensue if word got out, not to mention the Emperor's reaction. He had to handle this unexpected situation cautiously, making sure not to draw too much attention. As the news of the missing crown had yet to spread, the rest of the court remained engrossed in the anticipation of the grand ceremony. But as time passed, subtle clues began to surface. In a corner of the palace, a coin bearing a strange emblem was found. At the end of a corridor lay a piece of fabric not belonging to the palace, and in the room where the crown should have been, a faint scent of exotic spices lingered. These clues hinted that the disappearance of the crown might not have been a mere accident, but a well-planned conspiracy. As the story unfolds, these seemingly unrelated clues will gradually point towards three main suspects. But for now, everything was just beginning. Years before in Paris, the Louvre Museum stood as a beacon of art and history. In front of the grand painting, The Coronation of Napoleon, a young female student was engrossed in sketching. It was there Kevin saw Amelia again, his heart swelling with emotion. Disguised and unrecognizable, bound by the rules of the Gatekeeper, he approached her, suppressing the excitement within. "Hello, what are you drawing there?" he asked casually. "The crown of Napoleon," Amelia replied, focused on her work. "Oh, do you like the crown?" Kevin probed, his voice tinged with a mix of curiosity and hidden longing. "Yes, but not just for the crown itself." Amelia's voice trailed off, hinting at deeper thoughts. "If you like it, maybe I could bring it back for you," Kevin half joked, his words more earnest than he intended. Amelia looked up at the stranger with a laugh, finding humor in his seriousness. "All right, what do you think this crown symbolizes?" "Napoleon's power?" Kevin ventured a guess. "Maybe, but it surely symbolizes his love for Josephine," Amelia mused, her gaze returning to her sketch. Kevin's eyes drifted to the large painting, where Napoleon was depicted holding a crown about to crown Josephine. Lost in thought, he was reminded of his duty as the Gatekeeper. Suddenly, Kevin was alerted to his mission as the Gatekeeper, to correct a rift in the historical timeline. The theft of Napoleon's crown threatened to alter the course of time. Using his powers, Kevin returned to the moment, determined to find and restore the crown. Sneaking into the depths of the palace, Kevin employed his extraordinary observational skills and intelligence in his search for clues. He learned of two crowns: the Charlemagne crown, representing the supreme power of the Holy Roman Emperor in Europe, and the laurel leaf gold jade crown, associated with Caesar. Both were replicas but symbolized the highest power in Europe. After the papal blessing in the coronation, these crowns were believed to possess Europe's most mystical powers. Kevin realized that recovering the stolen crown and gaining Napoleon's trust could aid him in using this powerful artifact to find Amelia. During his exploration, he discovered that the crown's disappearance was no accident, but part of a more complex conspiracy. The scattered clues throughout the palace seemed to lead him closer to the truth, and, in turn, closer to Amelia. On a foggy morning in Paris, Kevin, the Gatekeeper, while searching for clues to Napoleon's missing crown, stumbled upon whispers about Count Henri de Lafayette. It was said that the Count, once a member of the royal nobility, had lost much of his stature and wealth during the Revolution. Napoleon's reign had offered him a chance to regain his honor, yet he harbored complex views towards the emperor's rule. Count de Lafayette was a man of culture and grace, deeply interested in art and history, particularly enamored with France's ancient traditions. However, he resented Napoleon's militaristic control over the nation. In his opinion, Napoleon's approach, though it brought order, undermined France's culture and aristocratic heritage. He believed true leadership should be guided by wisdom and morality, not solely by military might. One evening at a court gathering, Kevin overheard the Count speaking about the upcoming coronation. His words carried a mix of respect for the monarchy and disdain for Napoleon personally, intriguing Kevin. He began to discreetly observe the Count's actions and noticed unusual signs. The Count seemed remarkably familiar with the palace's layout, even the secret passages known only to the royal family. Further investigation revealed that the Count had attempted to influence Napoleon's decisions through his political connections, but had failed. This deepened Kevin's suspicion of his involvement in the crown's theft. More importantly, Kevin discovered a critical piece of evidence. The Count had corresponded with key members of the anti-French coalition, including the Habsburg monarchy of Austria, mentioning a gold jade crown remarkably similar to the one Napoleon had lost. Kevin realized that Count de Lafayette, driven by dissatisfaction with Napoleon's rule and a desire to restore the traditional nobility, might have been involved in the theft of the crown. However, to expose the truth, he needed more evidence, and all clues were pointing towards the impending coronation of Napoleon. Lieutenant Karl Schneider, a young and ambitious officer, was renowned for his intelligence and profound understanding of military strategy. His rapid rise in Napoleon's army made him a highly regarded commander. However, Kevin, the gatekeeper, gradually discovered that the lieutenant's loyalty was not as flawless as it appeared on the surface. The revelation came when Kevin learned that the courier of the secret letter from Count de Lafayette to the Habsburg monarchy was none other than Lieutenant Schneider himself. While investigating the Count, Kevin stumbled upon Schneider's peculiar activities. The lieutenant often left his camp silently at night, heading to secretive locations. This aroused Kevin's curiosity and suspicion, prompting him to covertly follow Schneider. One night, Kevin trailed Schneider to a secluded warehouse. Inside, he witnessed Schneider in deep conversation with a group of seemingly ordinary citizens. Upon closer observation, Kevin realized they were royal dissenters, plotting to sabotage the coronation ceremony. Schneider appeared to be their inside man, providing military support and intelligence. Further investigation revealed Schneider's complex stance on Napoleon's rule. Although he held a prestigious position in the army, he was disillusioned with Napoleon's autocratic reign and over-reliance on the military. Schneider believed in establishing a more democratic and free government, starting with the overthrow of the existing monarchy. Kevin realized that Schneider's motives might be entirely different from Count de Lafayette's, yet their goal was strikingly similar: to prevent Napoleon's coronation. This unveiled a tangled web of political plots behind the theft of the crown. Determined to expose the conspiracy, Kevin began formulating a plan not only to reveal the schemes of Count de Lafayette and Lieutenant Schneider, but also to ensure the safe return of the crown. He knew that unraveling all the mysteries was the only way to protect the smooth progression of the coronation and find the path back to Amelia. In the heart of Napoleon's era, Kevin, the gatekeeper, found himself torn between his duties and memories of his beloved Amelia. In his mind lingered the image of their first encounter at the Louvre, where Amelia was engrossed in sketching the coronation crown, a symbol of power for Napoleon, but a representation of love in Amelia's artistic interpretation. Obsessed with this memory, Kevin wondered if focusing on that specific moment and painting in his mind while opening a door would lead him to the crown's location. Acting on this intuition, he casually opened a door, only to find himself in Empress Josephine's secret chamber, surrounded by her personal art collection. To his amazement, he discovered the original sketches of the very crown Amelia was drawing. Kevin was overjoyed, knowing how much this would mean to Amelia. As he was contemplating his discovery, he sensed someone approaching. Hiding, he watched as Josephine entered the room. His surprise deepened when Josephine opened a small cabinet, revealing the missing crown. It was she who had taken it, a revelation that left Kevin stunned. Caught off guard by Josephine, Kevin braced himself for confrontation. However, instead of calling for the guards, Josephine seemed to recognize him, speaking of a time they had supposedly met before, a moment in Kevin's future that he had yet to experience. She began to confide in him the reasons behind her actions. Josephine recounted a past encounter with the Gatekeeper, who had shown her a future where she, as Empress, faced immense criticism and personal tragedy, including her inability to bear children and her eventual divorce from Napoleon. Believing that these misfortunes were tied to their rise to Emperor and Empress, she had sought to prevent the coronation, hoping to change her destined path. In this twist of fate, Kevin realized the complex web of time, destiny, and choices. Here he was, a silent observer to a story he had unknowingly influenced, now tasked with correcting the timeline he had inadvertently altered. In the silent chamber, Kevin and Josephine reached a clandestine agreement. Kevin pledged not to reveal that Josephine was the true thief of the crown. In return, he would use his time-traveling abilities to return the crown to its rightful place, thereby preventing any disruption to the coronation and preserving the timeline. However, as part of their deal, Josephine agreed to give Kevin the original sketches of the crown. Kevin knew he couldn't bring the original sketches through the time portal, but he devised a plan to preserve this piece of history. He decided to hide the sketches in the Louvre Museum, which had been open to the public since 1793 and had undergone numerous expansions. Yet, some parts of the museum had remained unchanged. In one of these secret nooks, Kevin carefully concealed the original crown sketches. Over 2 centuries passed in a blink, and it was time again for the moment of Kevin's first encounter with Amelia in the Louvre. Finding the hidden sketches, Kevin, disguised as another person, approached his past self. He handed the sketches to the real Kevin, advising him, "In front of Napoleon's coronation painting, you'll find a girl sketching. Give her this drawing. Her name is Amelia, an angel sent from heaven, your true love. Oh, and this is an original, very valuable. It will ensure a happy future for you both. Don't worry about jobs or money. These are trivial. Just make sure to protect your angel." As he walked away, Kevin's murmurs turned into silent tears, a mix of joy and sorrow for the love he had and the duty he must fulfill. That evening, in a secluded room in the Louvre, Kevin slowly took out another crown, the laurel leaf gold jade crown, fashioned by Napoleon in the image of his idol, Julius Caesar. Adorned with over 50 large gold leaves, 12 smaller ones, and 42 seeds, each leaf symbolized a victory. As Kevin closed his eyes, he envisioned Napoleon revealing a secret. Each gold leaf could grant him a divine power.